officially left Komodo National Park and are about to drop the hook in Banta. The anchorage is actually located in a volcanic crater. Pretty darn cool. And the water, since we have been in Indonesia, has been so glassy calm. I wonder, do they ever get waves here?
Anchoring in Banta is hard. You're essentially anchoring on the side of a mountain, a bit of which is above water and most of which is below.
Go! Ah.
Here we go, here we go.
There we go. Oh, that didn't work. I'm gonna try again.
It also means you end up uncomfortably close to the shoreline.
It's cool, but it's close.
It's intimidating.
I could tell the anchor wasn't set properly, but it was too deep for me to give it a close examination. So I threw scuba gear on to check it out. The chain being wrapped like this was a first for us, but was an easy enough fix. Where exactly is Banta? In Indonesia, near Komodo Island. Remember why you're out here. Some cruisers dream about getting to the Bahamas or crossing an ocean, but just about all of us hope to get somewhere relatively untouched by humanity that only our boat can take us. I'd never heard of Banta before we arrived, but it was one of those places that reminded us why we're out here.
It's a gorgeous morning here in Banta Island, Banta in Indonesia. Let's go see who's on for breakfast.
You are making smoothie bowls.
All right, ladies, how was the smoothie bowl?
Delicious. So I'm gonna make tortellini and bread for lunch. Nate's making fried rice and dumplings. And then on Thursday, we're gonna have our last bit of yogurt.
And then we're gonna eat out all the days.
We're eating out the rest of our lives.
We are so sick of making meals. We cannot wait to get to a place that has good restaurants, good service.
Bring on someone else.
Yeah,
Thinking
maybe a
about the meals.
hotel just for the moms,
Yes.
just saying, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dads are pulling their weight for sure, but
the kids can just stay on the boat for themselves, by themselves.
You'll fend for yourselves, right, Eily?
Oh.
Are you sure you would not like me to drive? Where am I going? Would you say it's as good as Fakarava, Eily?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know, we'll see.
There was a wall of sharks in Fakarava.
We are moving on. Goodbye to Banta, one of the most striking anchorages we have been at. It's a glorious day here. Next stop, Bali. Rounded a point here. We got a bit of breeze, bit of chop. It's been atypical for our Indonesian experience. A little bit, a few more miles we'll be able to turn down. It'll get better, but it's choppy.
Everyone needs to take a page from Kieran's book right now.
Is there any active flames?
All right, fire in the engine room, take one.
The engine caught fire.
Initial guess is that we sucked up a plastic bag or something. So discovered that the strainer is out of the system, meaning the through-haul water intake that cools the engine was going straight into the engine. The guys in Darwin did that. They disconnected everything to the engine, got equipment down there, raised it to remount it. But mind-blowing that the professionals would take the impeller out of the system, and then, you know, I didn't notice it. So that's our guess. Not the impeller out of the system, the strainer out of the system. So nobody cares as much about your boat as you do. We caught it real fast. We're gonna let it cool down, look at it tomorrow morning, impeller on up, but that's our initial guess.
What is this thing that you are making here or serving?
Well, dumplings.
This is dumplings?
Yeah, we call it dumpling challah.
And
Break apart dumplings.
have you created this dish before?
Well, it was Nate's idea.
Take frozen dumplings and then you unfreeze them until they're in, like, you know, 35 degrees or so, and kind of all mush fry the heck out of them together, and then pull them apart.
Yes.
Did you intend to serve the dumplings in this way?
Necessity is the mother of all invention.
Yes.
Ah, I see.
So when last we left you, we had a smoking engine room and no idea why. This morning we checked the coolant level, checked the oil, checked the prop to see if it was fouled, checked the alternator belt. Everything kind of seemed okay. Decided to start it up to see if the engine was spitting. First hypothesis being that we had our water flow was fouled because we discovered that the strainer was not put back into the system. We were taking raw water straight into the engine. Decided to turn it on this morning, nothing happened. Just a click, no turnover. So started investigating the starter, which we felt like, well, how could that possibly be it? The starter doesn't do anything when the engine is running. tested a bunch of stuff, finally decided to swap out the starter. We have a spare starter. Fired right up. Water is spitting out, temperature is good. The engine you hear in the background was the smoky engine compartment. So we now think that something went wrong with this guy. This is the old starter, and we're going to take it apart and see if it's, I don't know, all charred in there. What are we looking for?
Yeah, something burned and smelly.
It's going to be hard for us to identify because Jesse and I both smell burned and smelly at this point.
Gets in the beard.
So what's our hypothesis of what could have gone wrong to cause this to be the primary culprit as opposed to a secondary?
I think some electrical component failed internally, a diode or something that allowed this to be, or maybe the solenoid on it, to be energized and thus pushing this pinion onto the flywheel, causing it to spin at the engine RPM of like 2,100 RPMs and probably burn this thing up.
There we go.
Ta-da! Look at there.
Oh, even I can smell that.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it.
So all the windings
Wow.
in here are fried. But again, that is absolute best case in my opinion.
Well, right, because
That's
that's
nothing.
nothing connected to the.
It's just a component
Yeah.
attached to the engine as opposed to something.
Yeah. And we swapped out starters and boom, fired right up.
Activity 40, some hydrogen peroxide. Some duct tape, I think would be good to go.
Yeah.
Lots of duct tape.
But that's a good sized fish.
Oh, Mahi. That's a Mahi. It's huge. Oh my gosh, it's gigantic. Oh,
I told you it was a Mahi, Tucker.
huge.
Oh, wow.
That's ginormous.
That is a beautiful fish caught by Kieran.
Can we get a...
Oh, wow, big.
Yeah, big.
Look up and smile.
Yeah! Ooh, big boy!
Oh, so heavy.
All right, what's the situation?
We're approaching some island just outside of Bali, and we're approaching a current just outside of that island. Just outside of Bali.
Both engines, full blast forward. We just dropped from 6 knots, over 6 knots, to under 3 knots. All because of a current. Who's ready for a sundowner?